moving on, we're now going to look at how we can use the form wizard to create a form. And the concept of the form wizard is that you're trying to create a form based on a particular table or query that is existing. And there's no rule that says that you must select a form before you use the form wizard. However, when you have started or you have launched the form wizard, you are expected to select a form in the form wizard menu. By way of reminder, keep in mind that any object that you create in your database, if you want that object to become part of your database, you must save it. I think I should write that down here so that it wouldn't be as if you were never told. Okay, so let's go over here and create a new slide. Reminder. Okay, the moment you create a database object that you intend to keep as part of your database, that object must be saved. That is very basic. The moment you do not save the object that you have created, the chances are that your database would never work nicely. In fact, you would never see that. Let's increase that a little. So the moment you create a database object that you intend to keep as part of your database, that object must be saved. That is the only moment it becomes part of Access. And so if we're looking at what we have in our database Access objects here, you could see that the last form I just created is displayed there as part of it, and you can see their categories, the tables, the queries, and then the forms. Okay, you want to keep that in mind. It's very, very important. I've seen instances where students would create a form, after all said and done, they are like, I can't find this object, I can't find my form, I can't find my table, I can't find my query. It's basically because they did not save it. Okay, another point of note is that, I think I should write this down as well, because I've seen that issue at the same time. So another point of note is that whenever your database seems to return an error message, try to read and interpret the message before freaking out. Okay, before freaking out. If you do not interpret the message, chances are that you're going to freak out. Like, seriously, I've seen instances where somebody gets into problem and it's like, oh my god, I don't know what happened, it just doesn't work. And because you have refused to read the message, to even see what the message is trying to tell you, you find yourself thinking, oh my god, this thing is not working. I think the something has gone bad, the computer is bad, the program is not working. Okay, try to read the message. The message always tells you what is wrong and what needs to be done. So once you read the message, you can be able to identify what your error is. Okay, so as by way of reminder, please do not freak out. Read and interpret the message before you freak out. It's very, very important. Okay, guys. All right, I just felt I should chip that in. So let's go back to where we are before we lose our way. So we're trying to see how we can use the form wizard. So we'll just go ahead now and click on the form wizard, and we would have a dialog box that's going to open. And the first thing that we're trying to see here is which fields do you want on your form. You can choose from more than one table or query. Nice. So our form needs fields. What are the fields that we want? Is it from the guidance table? Is it from the students records table? Or is it from the abbreviated students records query? You remember, these are the three objects that we have here, except for the form. So what are those ones that we want? So the question is, I could say, well, I need name of guardian here. I need contact of guardian here, and that's that for that table. I could come over to students record and say I need the registration number, I need name of student here, I need age of student here, I need the sex of the student. What else might I need? I might say I think that's all I need. Okay, then abbreviated students record. I need this two records, the records and that. Yeah, I think I could use those two. And since I've selected those, of course, keep in mind that here simply said you can choose from more than one. Doesn't mean it is compulsory. You might decide that your form should be based on only one table. I'm choosing to go with the other way around. So, having selected the fields I want, I'm going to click on next. Before I do that, these double arrows allow you to select everything that is on each list. So if I were to move all of these ones over here, I'll just need to click on that and it moves all of them over there. Okay, so that means that if I were to use it again, I'll need to select those fields all over again. So let's go back there and select those fields. So we said name of guardian, contact of guardian, students record table, name of student, age of student, sex of student, and okay, let's add grade of student. No, let's leave that out, and I will go to abbreviated student record. We're saying name of student, we're saying total, and yeah, that's it. Okay, let's add grade from the student's record. Grades, beautiful. Now we'll have the fields we need, so I'm going to click on next. Okay, let's see. You have fields from record sources which the wizard can't connect. We have a problem there then. Did you notice that? Good. This is an instance of exactly what I mean by the problems or the errors that you would always encounter. So the idea now is to read the error. Don't freak out. So the error here says I have chosen fields from record sources which the wizard can't connect. So what are the odds, or what are the actual records that the wizard can't connect? I can't really see them here. So it just simply means that I might want to be specific on a table, or I must be certain that those records are existing on each of the tables, right? So I'm just going to click on OK and move all of this back first off, and then just go ahead and select them all at this point and try again. Okay, and that works for me, right? So problem solved. I didn't panic. Okay, all right. So the next thing I'll do now is, what is the layout of the form I want to use? These are styles of layouts. It doesn't mean that your form must appear exactly like this, but this is an idea of the style. So I could use a tabular type, I could use a datasheet type, I could use a justified type. Let's go with the justified option. Feel free to try out the others at your own time. I'm going to click on next, and then I'm going to click on finish. In 2007, there's a slight difference from what I have here. In 2007, there's a design that I could use, the background picture and all of those images where you could select from if you so wish. In 2010, that is no longer available. Okay, so in case you have that in 2007, feel free to play around with the designs. Now at this point, I'm going to click on finish. I could decide to use this modify the forms design in the instance where I want to open the form I'm just about to create in design view so that I can begin to edit it. I don't want that right now, so I'm just going to click on finish, and bingo, my form is opened for me. So you can see how nicely my form is just created. So I could decide then that I want to make some slight modifications, I want to make some adjustments, I want to make some additions, in which case I would simply need to go to the design view, and my controls will automatically come up for me, allowing me to begin to edit my form, make adjustments, flip it here and there, make just about any form of adjustment I would like my form to have. So if I wanted to reduce that dude over there, I could reduce him. If I wanted it smaller, depending on how large the name of student should be, I could do that. If I wanted the name of student to be at another location, not even at that point, all I need to do is drag it over to any location I want, and it just moves. So I could make a whole lot of changes to the form that I have created, make modifications, add controls as the case may be, and it's nice. Some other things I could do to this form is inserting a logo, which is going to appear somewhere here at the top where I have the title of my form. It could also include me changing the name of the title from students records to maybe students results. So let's let's make that change here. Okay, students results. I could go ahead to add a date and a time for this result, so that it's going to be reflected whenever this form is printed. I could see that shown here at the top. The date and the time is going to appear here when I get to the form design view. I could decide to insert an image to my form by browsing through my computer to get an image. So let's use that as the image we want to use, and I could drop it at any location. For instance, at that location I have my image inserted for me, and so I could make some added changes, added additions, and all whatnot, and just make do with our form. Having been satisfied with whatever change I must have made, I would then go ahead and click on the form view, and that is the form I just created. We could see the title I just added, we could see the date and the time, we could see the picture I inserted. And so remember that I said if you want your form to be part of your database, you would need to save. So I'm going to click on save, and my form is added for me there, and we're good to go. So forms just get created automatically for me using my design wizard or my form wizard, and I can actually walk around with it. I hope this is making sense for you guys. Let me see you nod if you are understanding what we're doing so far. Okay, I believe you're understanding. Thank you very much. That means a lot to me. Alright, so let's just now talk a little about the remaining two guys there. That is the navigation and the more forms. The navigation allows you to create a form that allows people to browse to different forms and reports. How does that work exactly? Let's click on navigation, and then we have options here. I can't really remember if this is available in 2007, but I'd like you to take a look at that and see if that is available. So on clicking on horizontal, it's telling me what are the forms I want. Do I want this to be added? Do I want the other form to be added? I could add any of those ones here that I need. So I could say, okay, we want the we want this guy over there, we want this guy. Am I clicking on him? Okay, we want this guy over there. We're just adding the forms and the attributes, and you see how it's just being added little by little. Now let's go over to the students records now and go add this one over there. Okay, and sorry, we're not trying to do a relationship here, but I hope we're getting my idea. Your navigation then does one thing. It allows you to be able to work with different forms, at the same time. The same thing similar to what we did under relationships in tables. I don't plan on going into the details, so don't ask. Okay, but that is what you can actually do when you're trying to use the navigation. The same goes for you trying to use more forms. Generally, that allows you to create multiple forms in one location. So if I'm clicking on that, I have a form for specific records. I could actually decide then that from the form view I have that form there, and I could decide that okay, let's work from this form. We could then decide that we could select another form, select two or more forms, and work with them at the same time. That way we have more than one form, and so all the entities here are more like treated as one form. Okay, so that is what your more forms will do for you, and it just makes it nice to work with. You see them looking as though they are different forms. That is what your more forms will do for you, and so you could actually make different selections. If you want to add a data sheet to it, you want to work with probably what other option, a split form. Okay, you want to work with let's see, you want to work with a model dialogue. You could actually see different ways you could work with your form and make it work. This is how you work with your forms, create your forms, and actually make them work. Let's close this first off. So forms are really, like we mentioned, a good way to display your data in a unique way. So I'll throw that question: do you think database is really hard? It is not really hard. Okay, you just need to put your mind to it. It is really, really fun. Okay, so I want to say that this will conclude our discussion on Microsoft Access Forms, except for one thing though, and this is this. I want us to try this out. Create a custom form for your family meal timetable. Some of you might be saying, okay, where do we start from now? All right, just keep in mind that it's quite simple. What you need to do at this point is simply create the fields, your meals in the house. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're trying to make meals. What are the fields you need to create? Are you trying to create fields for probably days of the week, meals to be eaten, how many times in the week the meal should be eaten, the breakfast, the lunch, the dinner? You're just trying to arrange it. I just want to see you do that. Probably at home you already have family meal timetable, so we're just saying transfer that meal timetable you have on paper to the computer using Microsoft Access form, and see how nicely you can begin to interact with Microsoft Access forms. I think this would officially conclude our discussion of Microsoft Access forms. I hope you have enjoyed learning about it. In the next video, we're going to be drawing closer to our discussion on Microsoft Access as we discuss reports. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'm going to see you guys in a bit.